All right, buckle up everyone, because we are about to take a deep dive into the world of power dynamics
Oh, yeah.
with Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power.
It's a book that always gets people talking.
Yeah, we've got some excerpts here. We're going to untack them.
Absolutely, and see what we can all learn from them.
Yeah, even if you don't want to rule the world,
Right, exactly.
there's some really, really good stuff in here.
There it is.
So let's jump into that first law, never outshine the master.
Okay.
So much to unpack here.
Yeah.
But it seems to be about like how to deal with your superiors.
Yeah, it really is all about navigating the sort of tricky power dynamics
Right.
with superiors. And Greene, he uses a story to illustrate it. It's a story about Nicolas Fouquet. He was a finance minister under Louis XIV.
Okay.
And Fouquet, he decides he's going to throw this super lavish party.
Always going to impress the king.
Exactly. He's going to impress the king, show off his wealth and his connections.
Right.
But it totally backfires.
I can see this going south already.
Yeah. Louis XIV felt really threatened by it.
Yeah, insecurity.
Yes.
Like, oh, you're trying to like show me up at your own party.
Exactly. And so what does the king do? He imprisons Fouquet and seizes all of his possessions.
It's a high-stakes dinner party.
It is a high-stakes dinner party.
Like, wow.
So the lesson there,
Don't outshine the master.
yeah, be really mindful of your superiors' egos and never make them feel threatened.
I guess that's good advice in general.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so law number 7 is get others to do the work for you, but always take the credit.
Oh, okay.
That sounds a little,
It's a little ethically ambiguous.
yeah, ethically ambiguous, a little sus.
Yes.
But when you read a little further, it seems to be more about delegation,
Yeah, exactly.
leveraging the expertise of other people.
Yes, think about politicians, for example.
Okay.
Most of them don't write their own speeches.
Right.
They have speech writers, but it's the politician that gets the credit.
So you're not supposed to like exploit people. It's more like recognizing the strengths of others,
Absolutely.
putting people in the right roles.
Yeah, it's like being the conductor of an orchestra.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, you don't play every instrument yourself,
Right.
but you bring them all together.
You make beautiful music.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Okay, number 15. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude.
Okay.
This one seems pretty practical.
Yes, it does.
Because, like, who wants to be guilt-tripped into doing things?
Right. No one likes that.
No one likes that.
And Greene says to frame your request.
In a way that benefits them.
Exactly. And so he uses the example of Joseph Duveen, who was an art dealer,
Okay.
who wanted to sell paintings to Andrew Mellon, who was this really wealthy industrialist.
Okay.
And instead of giving him a hard sell,
Right.
he gifted him a book of really high quality art reproductions.
So he appealed to his interests.
Exactly. And it worked beautifully.
At it.
Yeah, Mellon became a huge art enthusiast. Yeah. And Duveen's best client.
It's kind of a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about finding that win-win scenario.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, control the options. This one sounds
Yeah.
a little manipulative.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
So this is about creating like a false sense of choice.
it is.
Like steering people to what you want.
Yeah. And the example Greene uses is Ivan the Terrible.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he wanted to consolidate his power.
Oh yeah, I can see where this is going.
Yeah, so he gave the Russian people two options, right?
Okay.
Either he abdicates and the country descends into chaos.
That's option A. Option B, he has absolute power.
Exactly.
I think I know which one they chose.
Yeah, I think so too.
So he's like framing the choice, but he already knows what he wants them to pick.
Yes, and this shows us that manipulation is often about perception.
Right.
It's not about forcing people's hands,
Right.
but skillfully shaping their understanding of this situation.
Very clever, very sneaky.
It is a little bit sneaky.
All right. Play to people's fantasies.
Okay.
This one seems like a timeless principle.
It really is, yeah.
Everyone loves a good escape from reality.
Exactly.
So Greene uses the example of Lola Montez,
Okay.
who was this Irish dancer,
Okay.
and she became the mistress of King Ludwig I of Bavaria,
I see.
and she had a lot of opposition.
Oh, so she really cultivated her image.
Exactly. So she really understood what he wanted.
And she delivered.
She delivered.
Yeah.
So it seems like understanding what people crave on a deeper level
Yes.
and giving it to them
Yeah.
can be a very strong source of power.
Absolutely. And that applies to so many things, not just
Right.
seduction, but like,
Marketing.
yeah, marketing, storytelling, personal relationships.
It's all about the psychology.
It really is.
Okay, create compelling spectacles.
Okay.
This one seems like it's all about appearances.
It is. Yeah. Image is everything.
So Greene gives the example of Julius Caesar.
Right.
And Caesar was so strategic
You what?
with his public image and his appearances.
He wore these striking robes.
You know how to dress.
Yeah, he was a captivating orator.
I've heard that.
Yes. And he always had these surprises at his events.
So it's all about that symbolism.
Yeah, exactly.
The grand gestures.
Yes, projecting an aura of power and authority.
Yeah, you need to create a story that people can connect with.
Right.
Okay, so this next one I'm a little curious about. Stir up waters to catch fish. So what do you think he means by stirring the waters?
Well, I think he means using your opponent's emotions against them.
Oh, so make them emotional. And
Yes, you stay calm, you observe, and you capitalize on their reactions.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like a mental chess game.
You're playing the long game.
Exactly. And the story that Greene tells is about Harry Houdini
Oh, I love Houdini.
and his rivalry with another escape artist named Clippini.
Oh.
And Houdini, very cleverly.
Oh, he was a clever guy.
He let Clippini learn the secret to unlocking a pair of handcuffs.
Oh, so sneaky.
Yeah, and this made Clippini think he had this big advantage over Houdini.
Oh, but Houdini always had another trick up his sleeve.
Always!
So really, he was just like pushing his buttons.
He's just pushing his buttons and getting them all riled up.
So it's about using your opponent's emotions as like a weapon against them.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to work on the hearts and minds of others.
Right.
This one seems less about manipulation
It does, yeah.
and more about building those genuine connections.
Right. It's about understanding people's needs and aspirations.
And building a genuine base of support.
Yeah, coercion might work in the short term.
But it's not a long-term strategy.
No, it's not. It breeds resentment.
So Greene uses the example of T.E. Lawrence.
Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah, and he was so successful in uniting all those different Arab tribes.
Yeah, he was. And that was because he really understood the culture.
Right.
And he connected with his soldiers.
So it's more about inspiring loyalty.
Yes, inspiring loyalty and a shared sense of purpose.
Yeah, rather than relying on fear or intimidation.
Right.
That's a good lesson for leaders today.
It is. It's about authentic leadership.
Okay, and for our last law, mirror your opponents. This is fascinating.
It is.
So it's about adapting to your enemy's behavior,
Yeah, in ways.
like becoming a chameleon
Oh,
and disarming them.
yes, by reflecting their behaviors and mannerisms,
Right.
you make them feel heard and validated.
And it lowers their defenses.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like psychological jujitsu.
Yes, a very subtle form of manipulation.
Yeah.
Greene gives the example of Sen no Rikyu, a Japanese tea master
Okay.
who was really known for anticipating his guests' needs.
I see. So he was observing them.
Yes, and adapting to their tastes,
Interesting.
creating a sense of harmony and connection.
So it's kind of like empathy in action.
Yes.
Understanding the other person's perspective so well
Yes.
that you can kind of predict their needs and preferences
Exactly.
and then just subtly adapt your own behavior.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. These laws are really fascinating.
They are.
We've got a lot to think about here. But I think it's so important to remember
Yeah.
that power is often about skillfully navigating perceptions
Exactly.
and understanding how to influence people's thoughts and emotions and actions.
Through strategic communication and psychology.
It's really a game
It is.
that you have to learn how to play.
Yeah.
And it's not about being manipulative.
Right.
It's about understanding the tools
Right.
and using them responsibly and ethically
Absolutely.
to achieve your goals.
Yes.
Okay, but before we go any further, I want to tell you about a really cool resource
Okay.
for those who want to explore these ideas even further.
I'm listening.
It's called The Growth Reads,
Okay.
and you can find them at thegrowthreads.com.
What's that all about?
So they offer this amazing curated selection of books and insightful discussions,
I see.
and they can help you on your own journey of personal and professional development.
So it really fits in well with our deep dive today.
It does, because Greene's 48 Laws of Power is all about strategy and psychology and navigating human interactions.
It's about understanding how to get what you want in the world
Yeah. And use those insights to empower yourself.
and create positive change.
Exactly.
It's not all about manipulation.
No.
It's about understanding how the world works.
Okay, so listeners, if you want to expand your knowledge
Yeah.
and explore these thought-provoking ideas even further,
Absolutely.
be sure to check out The Growth Reads at thegrowthreads.com. Now let's dive back into Greene's laws.
Let's do it.
We just finished talking about mirroring your opponents.
Right.
So what's up next?
Okay, let's talk about preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. This one is about the tension between progress and tradition.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's about finding that sweet spot
Yes.
between embracing new ideas
Yeah.
and respecting the old ways of doing things.
Greene points out that while people might, change intellectually,
Yeah, in theory.
yeah, when it comes to their daily lives, they're creatures of habit. And too much change too quickly can be really disruptive.
Right, it's like trying to change a company culture overnight.
Yeah, it's just not going to work.
People freak out.
You do.
So if you're in a new position of power,
Right.
where you're trying to gain influence,
Yeah.
you really need to show respect for the old ways of doing things.
Absolutely.
Even while you're introducing new ideas.
Make it feel like an evolution.
Right, not a revolution.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like that psychology of change management. You need to be strategic and gradual with your reforms.
People need to adjust.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, let's talk about judgment stop when you reach the goal. This one is about self-discipline.
Knowing when to quit.
Yes, and avoiding overreach.
You can get greedy.
Exactly. Greene argues that when you're on a winning streak,
Right.
it's really easy to get carried away.
Get cocky.
You do, and you lose sight of your original goals.
You think you're invincible.
Yeah, and then you end up creating new problems that you didn't even anticipate.
Undoing all the good that you've done.
Right.
So his advice is
Simple.
have a strategy.
A clear strategy.
Set your goals.
Yeah.
And when you achieve them,
Stops.
just walk away.
Yeah.
Don't get greedy.
It's about knowing when to declare victory.
It's a good lesson
It is.
for life in general.
Yeah.
Okay. And our final law,
All right.
this one's a little more abstract.
It is.
Assume formlessness.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of Zen-like.
It does. What does he mean by that?
Well, he's talking about the power of adaptability and fluidity.
Yeah. Okay.
He says if you become too rigid,
To attach to your plans.
exactly, you make yourself vulnerable.
So you got to be like water.
Yes, flowing around obstacles
Yeah.
instead of trying to force your way through.
I like that analogy.
It's a good one.
So don't cling to a fixed plan.
Right. Be adaptable, embrace change.
The only certainty is uncertainty.
Exactly.
Okay, that is a great note to end on.
It is.
But before we wrap up,
Yes.
any final thoughts for our listeners? Well, I think it's important to remember that these 48 laws are tools.
Tools.
And like any tool, they can be used for good or for evil.
It depends on the intention.
Exactly. It all comes down to your choices.
Right.
And the real power is in understanding these laws on a deeper level.
So you can use them wisely.
Yes.
All right. So before you go out and start putting these laws into practice,
Yeah.
take some time to reflect.
Yeah.
What kind of power do you want to cultivate
And how will you use it?
to make a positive impact on the world?
It's a good question to ask yourself.
All right. That brings us to the end of part 1
Okay.
of our deep dive into Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power.
Thanks for listening.